Greetings, all, and welcome to another session of Speaking Through My World. Today, I want to focus and address the issue of governments, particularly my government, the South African government, pushing various campaigns during different periods or times of the year, particularly looking at now 16 days of activism. And the idea for this session came about after a very frustrating email that I received from two government departments, one affiliated to an international high commission and one locally based, basically requesting activists to post videos and contents pushing their campaigns that they're going to be doing during 16 days of activism. So it irritated me and it aggravated me on so many levels. Number one, for too long, activists, NGOs, and concerned citizens have been doing this type of work for government for free. But that conversation is for another day and another time. My main concern is that, yes, we can push these campaigns. And if you listen to my previous sessions, I spoke about hashtags and the meaning behind a hashtag. So it's great. You can have this hashtag, that's not okay, or whatever it is, pushing to stop gender-based violence. But if you don't have the policies in place or the resources in place or the plans to assist those who do speak out and so forth, what is the point of the hashtag? So the thought process that goes behind that and what do you plan to achieve from that, as opposed to just window dressing and asking people to hashtag whatever it is. And then also my other post, my last post that I put up, and that was about how so many victims and survivors in South Africa are turned away from police stations when they want to open up affidavits and get the forms to open up and take out a protection order against their perpetrators. And my concern in this process is that, according to the South African Police Service website, it states that victims and survivors can go into a police station, open up an affidavit, and get the necessary forms, and then take it to a court to open up a protection order. Yet a lot of these victims and survivors have been turned away from the police stations, and we're asking why. I mean, if you've said this on your website, but it's not really happening on the ground, there's a major disconnect. Which brings me to the topic of today, is that, yes, it's great to push the various campaigns, but we're at a point in our life, in our existence, is that we're in a crisis. COVID-19, yes, we're in a pandemic, but that's our second pandemic. Gender-based violence has been around for many, many, many years. And finally, in 2018, we had a president who admitted that our country was in a crisis. NGOs and CSOs and activists formulated the 24 demands which were handed over. Yet not much change has happened, or those demands being implemented into our systems and into our societies. So what frustrates me about when these campaigns come up, 16 days and Women's Month and so forth, is that, yes, we can push these different agendas and create the whole hoo-ha during that period of time. But then what actual change is happening on the ground? 2 days ago, an article came out about our police service, where over 100 police personnel have been found to be charged of gender-based violence-related crimes, whether it is rape, whether it is assault, domestic violence. The list is endless. And as one of my followers on Instagram stated, is that this list is probably not even near the correct amount, because we know what happens at police stations. This is the list that police officers that have been found guilty or are still being charged. What about those ones who haven't been caught, or who have been protected, or cases suddenly disappeared? So my request to our governments and to those who hold power is that we're tired of these unnecessary campaigns. Yes, you created them a long time ago and you're pushing those agendas, but what is happening on the ground? We are still dying. We are still living in fear. If the people who are supposed to protect us and provide that level of protection, such as the South African police force, where some of them aren't even doing their jobs, Why are we not addressing those? Why are we not implementing that type of and that level of change there, as opposed to asking people to work for free and push unnecessary campaigns which aren't going to do anything? You know, as victims and as survivors and as people who've been working in this for many, many years, that is, excuse the pun, but that is really a slap in the face. And we really need to change that attitude. You know, our lives are not your charity. The reality is our country is in a crisis. The other issue of which our government have touched on is the protection and the support to the LGBTQI community. The level of violence that we adhere to on that level, even just from verbal abuse. The level of violence that trans people have when seeking medical attention and turned away, that in itself is a human right violation and therefore is also a violence. Please, let's address these important issues, as opposed to posting cute little videos online, which are great for a certain period of time, 16 days to be precise, and then everything disappears. No, it's not like you don't know what to do. The demands are there. We've had the conferences, we've spoken. Our president sat at the Gender Summit in 2018 and he saw the tears of so many warriors who pleaded for change in this country. And then what happens? We're laughed at. We're ignored. We're undermined. Our pain is diminished purely because it doesn't suit the image that you're trying to put out, that yes, we live in this great rainbow nation. It's great on paper, but on the ground, no. We're not free. So please, I request, moving forward, we all need to make the change. It's not just government. It's active citizens on the ground. It's our police. It's our judicial system. It's everybody. But let's stop window dressing and performing and actually rolling up our sleeves and doing something, because for too long, the CSOs have been doing it. The activists have been doing it on the ground. Careers have been lost because victims and survivors can't go up against big institutions, big names, people who are protected by politicians, government, police. People are scared to go into police stations because they know that justice won't be served. Let's address those issues in real time, not just behind hashtags. Thanks so much for listening.